Okay, welcome to this how-to video. I'm going to talk through the color wheel or color theory in general, and specifically trying to find ways to select a color scheme that might suit your army. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do at times. I know for me it took me quite a while before I finally was able to settle particular color schemes for any of my armies. I don't think there's a single one that was an easy. Take that back, the orcs. Those were easy. They're already supposed to be green, and really any color clothing works fine, and it's usually grubby, so earth tones and blacks, it's pretty easy. But as far as the Eldar and the Imperial Guard and all those, what would look good? And when you look at the painting that's done by a lot of the artists, whether it's GW or whether it's some of the custom ones out there, they really do have some stunning models. And I may not have the painting skills to produce something that stunning, but at least having the colors selected so that the visual impression of the army or even the particular model, I want that to stand out. I want that, and it took a while to finally get it. Well, I ran across a real nice website. The guy was kind of walking through the color theory in quite a bit of detail. Not difficult to understand, actually, pretty easy, and it started to make sense for me. And so I made a quick little color wheel kind of a thing on PowerPoint with some rotating dials I could make to kind of help me select colors. And then the other day I stumbled upon this website by Adobe that makes this whole color wheel thing a lot easier. So I wanted to show this to you and kind of walk through color to help you maybe find a good way to pick some colors. So I'm going to put the link to this particular site in the links, in the descriptions below. It looks like a pretty long URL, but that takes you to this particular screen. So what we got here is a screen that has the color wheel, including different shades, as you can see through here, from the pure color on the outside to shading out down here. And there's actually several different types of color rules. And the most common that we think in terms of are the analogous, complementary, and triad. Now I'll go through the separate ones. I'll go through this overall during the video. But the analogous one is the easiest one to start with, simply because you pick a color and then there's a band of colors on either side to help you kind of get an idea of what would match, what would go well together. So when you get to the screen, you have this array of 5 spines. I don't know what these things are called, but each with a little circle at the end that representing the color and the position along the shade axis. And below it actually shows you the different colors. So hopefully this is coming across clear on the screen. It's actually coming pretty good across the my LCD screen here. So if you pull this central icon, you can actually you can move it up and down, and you'll see down here this band changes the shading level. It's from intense color down to fading out. So we're just going to keep on the outside here, and you can rotate, and as you see you're rotating, here we're starting to pick up the red to the right, yellows all the way to the left. And so these are the kind of colors that you would use in a scheme that would kind of support each other, match each other, complement each other. And you'll notice that in the color wheel, this is a little less than 90 degrees, maybe we'll call this 80 degrees. And in all honesty, you can move these thinner or thicker, but I would leave it at the preset setting just to get started. Personally, I'm not that good at color theory to really know when I should be messing with the span of the colors across the analogous spectrum. But anyway, so here, let's go over here to the blues and the greens. If you wanted to go with like a green scheme, your highlights or your main colors would be the nice medium green, and you'd go with the lighter accents to a light green, and you move toward the cyan. And actually, I do have a model. You'll see it when I go through or if you take a look at my army review for the Exodite house clans. Sorry, yes, the house clans. One of my spirit seers, which is actually a dragon seer in my codex, is actually colored along this line. Got a nice, actually, it's pulled down a little bit further here into the mid-range blues and the lime green. So this helped me see why that color scheme I chose worked when some other ones didn't. If you go down here to the darker blues, you can see how spanning, left dark blue to the left and then a cyan to the right, or right there in blue, cyan through purple. Those are good color combinations. So again, you can play with a lot of color combinations here. Red to the blue and purple, orange, red, some lavender, pink in there too. So this helps you kind of see what colors would look good together in this particular color rule. And then you can actually adjust the shade a little bit on any of these by pulling this down to kind of play around with some color concepts. And then if you want to, you can go to use this color palette and then compare it to some of your favorite paint manufacturers' color chips and see, well, what works and what doesn't. Okay, so let's go to the next color one, the Triad. Let's talk there. Whereas this, everything's within about a 60 degree to 80 degree arc, the Triad is actually 3 equally spaced around the color wheel, 120 degrees apart. So as you pull that, you can see everything rotates. And these are the colors that you would use. Blue, orange, and green here. So lavenders, almost like a mustard color, a lime green, and then almost a tan, a brown, into the reds. The Triad is a way to get 3 different colors on the wheel, equidistant, picked out. Here, I don't think you can actually move any one of these any closer, because the whole idea of the Triad is they're all equidistant across the color wheel. So again, play with this site to figure out what colors combinations kind of stand out, and once you find one you actually like, you can then start moving things around, in and out, changing the colors. So now you'll notice here, real carefully, you'll notice there are 2 circles in each of these 2, and this is the primary. So this is one color section, and then each of these has 2. So here you're getting, this is there's one single one here, and then here there's going to be 2 shades. So you can actually adjust the shades of some of these. So, but when you adjust the shade of one, it adjusts the shades of others. So again, this is trying to balance it following that one color rule. I don't think I've actually found a scheme on my models yet that actually matches this, but it is one I'm going to try out. And if you go to the link below to the website, I'm going to point out where he talks about what is the difference between analogous, complementary, and triad schemes. He'll help you understand which one to choose and when to choose what, because each of these sets a different mood. Now, complementary is very easy. It's opposites on the wheel. And that's the important part. It is all about the opposites. So blue and yellow, you can see here, cyan and orange. Actually, green and purple is one of them. You can get green and red, obviously. And as you move it around, you can see there's right there. You're looking at Iandon fairly well. You got the purple with the yellow. You'll see a lot of these complementaries stand out in some of the color schemes that are used by GW. So here's a couple different shades of orange with cyan. It's pretty nice, nice contrast. That's one of the biggest things there, contrast. So there are a couple times I've used this. I have used the blue and yellow, purple and yellow a little bit. And the red-green, I do use that one. Actually, I use that one pretty frequently. And again, I stumbled upon that one. Now I know why it makes sense, because I see how it's being used here. If you want to look at some of those others, there's Monochromatic, which is all about using one color around the wheel and then adjusting the shades around, essentially adjusting the saturation. So this is where you'd end up with some of the browns and grays coming in. So based on kind of a reddish brown. So here on the yellows, you get the same kind of thing. You've got some grayish yellows, tannish yellows. So again, playing with this gives you some ideas for color palettes that you can use in coming up with an army. This way you don't have to waste paint trying to play with things. Because if you can find something here that you like, and personally I love blue, right? So you might have seen some of my armies with a lot of blue, but here you can play with some different colors. You know, here's some a blue that it doesn't come across real well on this screen right now, but this is very close to one of the Lehman Russ grays. Matter of fact, as I pull it down here, it becomes more and more like it. So again, you can use this to pick a palette you like and look at some shades and hopefully come up with a nice army look that you like. Compound, let's look at this one together. This one's a little different. This is preset again. I think you can move each of these individually. Nope, you can't. You can adjust the saturation, but you can't adjust the angles. Now don't have a clue what compound really means, but again, it's just another color rule. So that means that this has something to do with the different colors can be chosen in this relationship to each other that allows you somehow to get, oops, I actually made the whole thing a little bit smaller. There it is. And I don't know how this works. I mean, I'll be honest, but the tool is fantastic to help me figure out what it is I want to do. And as you move this, you can see they all adjust automatically to match the color rule, which is based on color theory. Shades here. So all these are different shades of a particular color as you move around. Again, similar to monochromatic, but I think I'm not entirely certain how this. This is definitely going to differ. If you quickly look here, you've got saturation level here. That's how intense is the color, how faded is it, whereas the shades are they're actually darker or lighter. You know, so this is, you know, even though this is kind of an orange color, this actually comes out as a brown. And so again, another way. This is a good one. I'm going to use on my Glade Guard models to get some of those natural leather earth tones with enough variation to make it look interesting without having to come up with some really weird ideas. Custom, play with it yourself. Custom, you can do everything you want. Everything's editable there. So I just want to kind of walk through color theory here in the purpose of trying to pick certain paint schemes, and with a tool that I found real easy to use. Here's at a website, so as long as you've got your laptop up or a computer, you got access to it, you can play with this and come up with your next color scheme. If you don't have reliable or continued access to the computer on and off all the time, you could put some of this color wheel here into a PowerPoint presentation, and then create kind of angles and lines in here to represent these areas, and then you just be able to rotate those around your color wheel in PowerPoint using the tools, the little tools that you can use to rotate objects, and that's how you can actually make your own PowerPoint version of one. But this I find so much more easy, and since it's by Adobe, I trust that this is actually representing the rules very well, and I'll end up with a better result. So hope you found this helpful. This is the first of a how-to series videos that I'll be making. Again, comment below if there's any subjects you might want me to cover at any point in time. Let me share, like, and subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you later. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.